Well, the intended audience, I think, would be a combination of governments and business people. It's essentially leaders in all sectors. And I think what the study shows very powerfully is that there's a real economic value to reputation. And it's an asset that has to be measured, it has to be managed. And it's an asset, fortunately for Canadians, that we seem to have in spades, more so in perceptions of people in other countries about our environment, how we are as people, and the quality of our governance, more so than the quality of our business, although business gets a very good rating too.
Anything jump out at you as you're looking at these numbers, either that really puts Canada over the top into the top tier on reputation, or the other way around, that might drag Canadians down more than they expect?
Well, where we're number one, Pat, is we're number one in the world in the study, and this is the largest reputation study in the world, 39,000 people in the G8 countries. And where we're number one is as a place to live, as a place to visit, and as a place to study. Where we're somewhere between number 4 and number 6 is a place to, I think we're number 4 as a place to invest, and number 6 as a place to buy products from. So that's the area where it's very, very competitive. And our greatest competitors on the economic front are the countries of Scandinavia, as well as Switzerland, Japan, and Germany. So it's really competitive out there, but without question, Canada's in a really good position. The other thing that strikes me, Pat, is that Canadians, surprisingly to me as a Canadian, we're number one in the world in terms of our internal self-image. And so if you look at Canada versus the U.S., where you're located right now, Canada and the U.S. have had a bit of a role reversal in that Canadians are feeling better about their own country than Americans are about theirs.
Yeah, this side of the border, there's a little bit of disagreement about things these days. Let's talk about that, the U.S. reputation versus the Canadian reputation. What is it about the U.S. that causes it to not rank as high as countries like Canada, like Sweden, like Switzerland, which have all been at the top of this survey in the past 5 years?
Yeah. Well, the area where the U.S. has struggled the most in the last year is perceptions by people in other countries of the quality of its government. And I guess that won't be a huge surprise, given all the news. And not just the news, but also the actions, right? When there are trade wars threatened and potential instability, that naturally makes investors less likely to want to invest. That makes businesses less likely to buy and people less likely to visit. And so it's definitely had an impact. But what's really interesting about the U.S. is America retains a huge asset in public perceptions around the world about the quality of its companies, of its brands, of its products. And so if you're an American business right now, what you probably want to do as a result of this data is really invest even more in the marketing of those assets and obviously trying to do your best to explain the governance challenges.
Dan, let's turn this back to Canada to finish up here. If you're a Canadian business, how do you capitalize on something like this? There's this goodwill around the world. Do you try to win business to people to say, hey, this is a place that you can invest in and count on the fact that what you invest in today is what's going to be the landscape tomorrow as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a huge opportunity for all stakeholders in Canada. And the thing about earning and keeping a good reputation, it's not just about marketing. It's about tangible actions. It's about the environment that's created. It's about communication, and it's about partnerships. And so I think the message here is that governments at all levels, local, provincial, federal, and businesses, the chambers of commerce and individual business leaders themselves, have to collaborate to try to portray a consistent image of Canada in the world. If you're a business, very clearly, though, you can use this study as an example and perhaps as a proof point that this is a great place for foreigners to invest, because it reflects Canada's status as a safe country, as an ethical country, a country where the rule of law continues to reign, and where people are welcoming, so that your workers will feel welcome here.